Hey y'all, Dr. KJ here. How's everybody doing? Before I begin, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so humbled to be a part of this amazing 7-day self-care summit hosted by the Los Angeles chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. If you guys really like what you see, do me a favor and share. Share this um, link so that everybody can tune in. It's going to be going on for 7 days, and we have some amazing mental health tips and interventions and coping skills and just wellness living resources. We have what is it? I think we have yoga, we have uh, sound baths, we have healthy cooking. I'm telling you guys, it is going to be an amazing 7 days. So if you like what you see, please share the link or come back every day. Come on back and get some tips so that you can maintain your mental wellness and your health. All right, y'all. So let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Kenji Jones Lane. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I am a member of the Los Angeles chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I'm here today to just talk briefly because this is kind of like information, but I also want to engage the viewers. We've all heard that, therapy is, trending right now, and people are becoming more interested in the therapy process. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions, which can cause some resistance or it can kind of paralyze us with fear. So I'm here to dispel some of the myths that surrounds therapy and answer some questions that you guys may have. Now, I'm not going to say that I have all the answers because this field is ever evolving. It's constantly changing. So constant changes are taking place, and the mental health professionals have to go in and, learn about what's going on so that we can be of good service and provide the clients with, the most utmost and respectful care. But I can give you some information about the process, what it's like, and maybe answer some questions that you may have. So I encourage you to go to the comment section and put in any questions you may have, and I will do my best to answer them for you. Yeah, so let's get started. I received my bachelor's degree and my master's degree from Cal State Dominguez Hill, go Toros, and I received my doctor of psychology degree from the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. I've been in this field for 8 years, and I've had the pleasure to work with many individuals from different populations. So it's a very rewarding occupation. It definitely involves a lot of patience, self-care, um, and just making sure that I don't forget about myself while I'm helping others. Um, if you follow me on Instagram at Dr. underscore KJLMFT, you will see that I always post about self-care because self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. And society has conditioned us to make us feel bad when we try and take care of ourselves. So I'm definitely an advocate for self-care. I also always remind my clients that you cannot pour from an empty pitcher. There's no way you can give something that you don't have. And that is just a way of life, but that's definitely something that you have to remember if you're on your mental wellness journey. If you pay attention, when you get on the plane, those lovely flight attendants, they go through all of those instructions. And one of those instructions is that you have to put on your face mask first before you help your neighbor. Same concept. You have to fill your pitcher before you pour into someone else. So self-care is really important. It's really important, you guys. So, okay, so I said what I was going to speak briefly about. Let's just articulate some intentions for this space or housekeeping rules. So whenever I have a group or whenever I'm speaking to a large crowd, I want to make sure that everyone feels as comfortable as possible. So in this space, we want to make space, we want to share space, and we want to take space. We want to make space so that everyone can kind of participate. Everybody can kind of put something in the comments and maybe ask a question. We want to share the space. We want to support one another. We don't want to yuck nobody's yum. We don't want to say, oh, why are you asking that? That's dumb. Nope, we don't yuck nobody's yum, not in this space. And then we want to take space. So what's shared here stays here, but what's learned here leaves here. I need you guys to take it out to the masses. I need you guys to share the information because it's important. In this day and age, it's important. It really is, because we have gone through a lot these past 2 years with COVID, with politics. I mean, it's just been a lot, and it's difficult to maintain that life and work balance when you have other factors coming in. And so no one expected for COVID to come in and shut us down for 2 years. It's still kind of shutting us down, but it's slowly but surely opening up. So it was difficult to make that transition. I don't know about everyone, but I know for my close circle and for myself, the transition was very difficult to go from, being out and doing what I wanted to do to now I have to isolate and stay at home and learn how to work from home. And every time I go out, I have to wear a mask. And yeah, it was a big transition for me. So with all of that going on, I don't know about you, but I was struggling just to try to maintain some sense of normalcy because nothing was normal anymore. And my mental health kind of slipped away, because my job came first. I prioritized my job and forgot about my needs. And so I had to say, wait a minute, Kenji, that's not the way this is going to work. And I had to advocate. And I mean, seriously advocate for time for myself. And so that's why I encourage everyone to take care of yourself. Okay. Another rule or another intention is that we want to step up and step back. We want to step up to support and encourage others, but we want to step back to give space for other people. So now that we've gone through the housekeeping rules, I know you guys see me kind of reaching up. It's because I'm doing this by myself. And I don't have my stage hands, if you will. I don't have my stage hands here, so I'm kind of like going to my notes. So if you see me reach up or if you see me look up, it's just because I'm reading my notes. I'm not an expert, but I feel like I'm well versed, and so I can provide you some information. But hey, I'm human. I have notes like everyone else. So as we continue to go through this this space of learning and engaging with one another, I want you guys to kind of just take a self scan right now and just kind of feel where you are. This is like a mindfulness exercise. Feel where you are. Pay attention to where you are currently, where you are physically. Feel the couch or the bed or the chair that you're sitting on, your feet flat on the floor. If you have the fan going because it's a little warm today, feel the air, on your face. Just kind of check in with yourself. This is something that we take for granted because we're just going. So try to check in with yourself right now and just, ask yourself these simple questions. What am I carrying? What are you holding on to? What are you shouldering? What are you bottling up inside? What am I carrying? And then ask yourself, how am I coping with this? Am I coping by addressing what I'm carrying? Am I coping by suppressing what I'm carrying? Am I coping by ignoring what I'm carrying? Ask yourself, how am I coping? And lastly, I want you to ask yourself, how do I want to feel in this space? I know it's not forever. Before these, 40 minutes, how do you want to feel in this space? Do you want to feel happier, lighter, freer, more informed? How do you want to feel in this space? Set your intentions as we begin this journey so that when you finish, you can feel some sense of fulfillment because you're going into this intentionally. You're going into this with a reason and you want to come out with a resolution. Okay? All right. So as I said before, I solicit your questions. Please enter them in the chat. If you want to say, hey, how you doing? I encourage that too, because, hey, I need that encouragement just like everyone else. I just want to, again, thank you guys for tuning in. And as I said, I'll do my best to answer as many questions as possible. I will be giving away, I didn't even mention that, but I'm also a self-published author. I will be giving away one of my books. It's Aspire to Inspire, an inspirational devotional for a purposeful life. I had to check because I have another book. And this is Aspire to Inspire, an inspirational devotional for a joyful life. So I'll be giving away 3 free copies autographed by me. These are just inspirational devotionals that can be used to encourage and inspire you. This one is more geared towards the mental health component. Just to kind of open it, it just gives you, oh, can you see it? It gives you a little bit of inspiration, and then you have some room to write as well. And it also gives you a couple of self-care practices and coping techniques. So I'll be giving away 3 of these. And yeah, it also comes with a really cute bookmark. Okay. So go ahead and yeah, look at the banner going across the screen. I do see some comments from one of my sorors, and I extend my I extend my sincerest emotions and support to you regarding the news that you received today. Figuring out how to deal with your emotions moving forward is definitely a task, but it's something that can be done as long as you know how to do it in a healthy way. So, leaning on your village, the people that you trust, individuals that you feel you can talk to, leaning on them and just acknowledging, hey, this hurts, because that's something that we do not do. I do not, I've trying to research that. I don't really like to research, but I'm really trying to research why it is that we as a people feel that we have to suppress our feelings. And I've discovered that it's not even about us. This goes back way, 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 way back, for the grands and the great grands and grands, we were not given that space to say, hey, it's okay to feel. No matter what we were going through, we had to suck it up and keep it pushing. And that's not the best way to go. So, find some resources or find a circle that you can really lean and depend on, and allow yourself to feel. If that means you have to journal, you have to write some things out, because maybe you don't want to get too transparent because you don't want to be judged, totally okay, but you got to get those emotions out, because how can you figure out how to go forward if you don't know what you're feeling? So I hope that helps, and you know how to reach me. So feel free to reach out to me so I can support you for sure. Another question, how do I share what I am carrying without exploding? Good question, good question. Well, the way that you share is first you have to give yourself time to process it, because a lot of times when we reply or when we respond, it's emotionally charged. And we're not giving ourselves the room and the space to process it ourselves. So give yourself time to process what's going on. Those questions that I told you that I asked, well, that I suggested you ask yourself in the beginning, what am I carrying? What is it that I'm carrying? Am I carrying hurt, pain, grief, loss, anger, disappointment? The list goes on and on. First, identify what you're carrying. Once you identify what you're carrying, it'll give you some more space to say, okay, this is what I'm carrying. Why am I carrying it? Who gave it to me? Because I don't want to carry what somebody else gave me. I want to give it back to them. So you think, you have to first identify what it is. And so then that'll give you space to process it. And you can kind of just ask yourself those transparent questions. And once you find out the whole equation, it'll make it easier for you to share it, because now you've had time to process it. Now you've had time to assess what's going on, who gave it to me, how I'm feeling, And so now I can share it with someone else, because the first question, some of the first questions you're asked once you begin to share is, oh, well, girl, what happened? Oh, for real? Who did that? Dang, seriously? So you want to be able to control your responses, because although our village can be very supportive, they can hype us up and have us looking crazy. So you want to make sure that you have a control on your feelings before, you begin to share. So I hope that helps you. Oh, I got another one. Okay. How does one handle negative feelings from the past? Wow. Whew. Well, that is a very heavy question, because some of those negative feelings are heavy and you're carrying them with you, and you don't know how to process. You probably don't even know why you're carrying it. It's just something that you're holding on to. We sometimes hold on to those feelings because we have nothing else to hold on to. But you have to kind of process within yourself that it's okay to heal. It's okay to let these feelings go. How are these negative feelings affecting you? How can they contribute to your present? You got to ask yourself those tough questions, those questions that you really don't want to answer because you know the answer, but you don't want to hear it. So you have to really kind of confront those feelings. Why am I carrying these feelings? How is this benefiting my present? These negative feelings that you're feeling towards an event or even a person, is it affecting that person still like it's affecting me? Is it affecting that event still like it's affecting me? Probably not. So you have to learn how to take your power back, the power in your voice. You have to choose to say, I'm not letting these negative feelings from the past affect my present or my future. I'm taking control over my power and my voice, and I'm conquering these feelings. You may have to write them down. You may have to seek some therapy, to help you process it, because you want to process it in a healthy way. But yeah, that's the best way to handle the negative feelings, is to start asking yourself those really tough questions and processing it. Okay. What is the difference between therapy, psychology, and psychiatry? Okay. And how do you know which professional to seek? Well, psychologists and psychiatrists can both provide therapy. Counselors, therapists, we only can provide therapy. Psychiatrists can provide medication as well. So there's a triad component to the therapeutic experience, and in order for you to decide which one is best for you, it's better to seek out what you're going for. And if you don't know, if it's like, oh, I'm just feeling anxiety and panic, I don't know how to deal with it, you may want to start with a therapist. You may want to start with a counselor. And if after, talking, you find out that, hey, this is something a little bit heavier, then you may want to go to psychiatry if you want to include the psychotropic medications. Sometimes anxiety, panic disorders, depression, it can be, helped with just therapy. But if it's really affecting your daily activities, then you may want to go a step further and look into psychiatry. And psychologists, they do therapy as well, and they do the diagnosing. So it depends on what it is you're searching for on your therapy journey, and then that's how you decide how to go forth. But I always say start with therapy, and then once you kind of unpack some things or peel back the layers of the onion, you can find out, hey, this is a little bit deeper. This is affecting my daily activities. I may need to seek something else. So that's the best way to do it. I hope I answered your question. How do I set boundaries with my parents after COVID? Okay, this is a good question. Okay, these have all been amazing questions. Thank you guys, because I had something to talk about, but we moving right ahead. Okay, how do I set boundaries with my parents? After COVID, I moved in to save money with them, but they are always in my space. Really, really, really good question. Setting boundaries with parents is not always the easiest thing to do, because your parents always see you as their little baby. So it's kind of difficult to cut that cord when it comes to parents and setting boundaries, but it is good to set the boundaries as soon as you kind of get there, early on in this situation. So you moved in after COVID, you've been there for a while. It may be a little difficult for your parents to accept the boundaries, but it's still not too late. Um, Sitting them down and just talking to them, because parents were teenagers, the young adults once before. Opening communication, that's what's the best way to set boundaries, but they have to be healthy boundaries and respectful boundaries. So open up the communication with your parents, kind of talk about the issues that are concerning you, allow them space to express how they're feeling, and ask them to allow you space to express how you're feeling, and try to come to a mutual agreement. It may not all work out the way you wanted to, but if you can kind of get a little bit to work out in your favor, you can always work towards, getting more, together on other things. But the best way to set boundaries with your parents is to communicate. So I hope that helped you. Thank you, Soror. Thank you. Okay, hey everybody. I appreciate the support. You guys have no idea. Um, Another question. Okay. We had a session last month on broken heart syndrome. How can someone with a broken heart begin to heal and practice good self-care? Well, it depends on the broken heart, where it came from. Was it a breakup? Was it grief and loss? Well, I don't want to say grief and loss, because a breakup is loss. We have the tendency to just, associate grief and loss with someone passing away. But if you lose, something that's dear to you, if you lose a relationship, you lose your favorite jacket, you lose your purse, hey, that's loss. So, it depends on where the broken heart stemmed from, but the best place to begin to heal is addressing what was lost. What did you lose, and how did you lose it? And once you figure that out, then you have to start taking steps, because that may require some therapy. That may require a safe space for you to process what's going on, for you to open up and, share something without the judgment, without someone coming back telling you, girl, you need to do this, that, and the other. Sometimes you just need a safe space and you want to be heard. So figuring out where the broken heart stems from, and then identifying what you need to begin to heal. Do I need to grieve? Do I need to go and apologize? Do I need to reassess what I'm looking for so that this doesn't happen again? So it depends on where the broken heart came from. But practicing good self-care is, seeking out where the broken heart came from and how you can begin healing, whether it's therapy, whether it's taking up a hobby, exercising, getting out, moving, changing your environment, going on a vacation. It just depends on where the broken heart stems from. I hope that answered your question, Soror. Yes, please feel free to ask questions. I see something. Yes. How can I take care of my mental health? I'm not sure how to go about it. Is it by doing what I love or going for therapy? What exactly is self-care? Okay, so this is like what? 3 questions. Okay. How you can take care of your mental health is first identifying what you need. And it sounds like it's so simple, right? But it's not, because society has conditioned us to put everything ahead of ourselves. We have our job, we have our friends, we have responsibilities, we have obligations. And, it used to be a time where we left work at work, but now work is home, or we're bringing it home, and then we have, committees that we're on, and, we have Little League, and we have Pop Warner football, and we have all these different things. And so we forget about ourselves in the hustle and bustle and everything. We as women, we wear this cape that only we can see. We are Superwoman, Superman, Batman. We are all the superheroes, and we never take care of ourselves. We put ourselves on the back burner. So taking care of your mental health is deciding what you need. I had a client and I asked them, what do they like to do? And our whole session was that she did not know what she liked to do, something that seemed so simple. It got lost in the shuffle. Don't know what you like to do. I don't know what my favorite color is. I don't have any hobbies, because we're so conditioned to doing stuff for everyone else that we forget about ourselves. So that's the way you go about taking care of your mental health, by finding out what you like to do and doing it. Be an advocate for your personal wellness and self-care. I cannot say it enough. You can do what you love, or you can go to therapy. You could do what you love and go to therapy. Self-care is taking care of you, finding out what you need in the moment. You had a stressful day. What do you need? I've had a stressful week. What do I need? I don't feel like I'm being heard. What do I need? These are simple questions and they sound simple, but when you really take time to sit down and think about it, you may not be able to come up with an answer. And that's how you know I need to take care of myself. I need to increase my mental wellness. All right. Okay. Had to get a drink. Um, so uh, keep those questions coming for as long as I can answer. I definitely will. What I do is I'm a marriage and family therapist. When I tell people that, they're like, so does that mean that you only work with couples and families? No, I work with individuals, I work with families, and I work with couples. I work with them all. A common myth about therapy is that it is crazy people, you know, and I don't know if I'm the only person in the room, but I doubt that I am. What I heard coming up is what goes on in this house stays in this house. And you know, my mom, she was such a sweet woman. But she pumped the fear of God in me. Do you understand? So when she told me that, it was like, I don't care what I'm going through. I am not going to tell anybody because my mom already told me what goes on in his house stays in his house. She said, and if I hear my business coming from anybody else, it's going to be a problem. So, you know, I zipped my lip and I said nothing. And I often think back to that time, you know, like, man, I wonder how different, you know, things would have been for me if I would have shared those moments when I, you know, was scared or I was mad or I was angry, I was hurt. I wonder what would be different for me if I had that opportunity to share those things. And it's no shade to my mom. She was a wonderful woman, but man, she had me scared. So I never said anything. And that is one of the reasons why I chose this field, because the uh, the expectations, the societal expectations that's been placed on therapy is that it's just for, you know, crazy people. It's for individuals that are not of our same culture. You know, it's not for Black people. We don't go to therapy. We don't do therapy. We take it to the Lord in prayer, and that's it. And, you know, the Lord made therapists. So, you know, maybe we can utilize this as another resource to say, hey, I need to talk to somebody. I need some help. I need some assistance with what I'm going through. I see another question. It says, what are some self-care options you would suggest? Um, Great question. I just talked about this on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. I was asked a similar question, and it's like, well, what if, you know, I don't have, you know, $1,200 to go on a cruise? You know, what if I can't, you know, do that? Because that's what society puts as self-care. Going away on a vacation, you know, doing something big and extravagant. And don't get me wrong, if you're able to do it, I encourage you to. But sometimes we don't have time to make the plans, take off work, save up money, buy tickets. We don't have time to do all that. So do some self-care in your home. Simple stuff. You can go to Dollar Tree, you know, you can go to Five and Below, and you can get some really nice things to just indulge yourself in a day of self-care. That could be giving yourself your own pedicure, or if you don't want to do that, just soak your feet, you know, put on a face mask. Put some cucumbers over your eyes. Set your timer for about 30 minutes. Play some relaxing music. Hey, you can be in a totally different space after just 30 minutes. But if that's not enough, you know, another thing, have a ritual, have a routine. I posted a reel on my professional page of something that I do each night, and it consists of, you know, some tea. Yogi, I love tea, all kinds of tea, but yogi tea has like little inspirational messages on it. So, you know, you open that up, you smell the tea, you read the inspirational message, you have you a nice, you know, warm cup of tea. Then you can have your infuser blowing with, some calming scents like chamomile, lavender, peppermint. You could take you an intentional bath or intentional shower. What that is you go into that space intentionally. I'm washing away not only the dirt and grime of today, but I'm washing away the stress. I'm washing away, the disagreement that I had with a friend. I'm washing away, the issues that I felt when I came home and my kids didn't clean up. Whatever it is, you go into it with intention. And as you're washing away, intentionally think about those things that you're washing away. I'm washing away the stress. I'm washing away this headache. I'm washing away this day. So after you have your warm tea, you take your intentional bath or shower, and you have your infusion blowing with the nice little scents, sit down and journal. You can sit down and journal with this, or you could pick up a journal from Target, anywhere, and just, write out some intentions for the next day. You could kind of just unpack and unwind in that journal everything that happened today. Whatever you want to do, just do it in a journal, and then unplug. Turn off everything, the TV, the phone, the alerts. Turn it off and go to sleep. That's that's a really good way to practice self-care. Those are some good, some suggestions that you can use. You can start off slow, you can continue to increase it. I have a lot more, but I don't have that much time. So feel free to hit me up on my Instagram, DM me. Most of you guys are my sorors, so just reach out to me and I can definitely give you some self-care tips because I have to change them up. But yeah, those are some. Hope that helped. Um, what is the best researched therapeutic modality for couples counseling? Well, there's a couple because it depends on what the couple is coming in for. Um, you can do structural therapy, strategic therapy. You can also go with CBT. It just depends on what the issues are. I practice from a humanistic approach, so I kind of let my clients lead, and based on what I'm picking up, what I assess, that's what therapeutic modality I use. But CBT is always a really good way to get the communication going, to knock out the negative thoughts, the rumination, the intrusive thoughts, and to increase communication. So, I am so sorry if you guys hear the ice cream truck. um, what can we do to help the African American community break the stigma about seeking therapy? Wonderful question, line sister. Just becoming more informed, getting out there. That's what I'm trying to do. And I try to incorporate a lot of different therapists, African American, Black therapists on my page. There's a whole community of us out there, believe it or not. We are trying to break through. We are trying to get directories introduced. We're trying to get out there to let our community know that the stigma and the myths that surround therapy are not factual, that we can seek therapy and it doesn't put a stigma over us. It doesn't put this label over us. It makes us human. So just trying to link up with, other individuals, like-minded individuals that want to learn more information about therapy, or, solicit, people like me or other therapists that therapists of color, solicit them to come in and talk and get information so that you can kind of spread the word, because um, we don't really want to engage in something we don't know about. And so that's why I thought that this would be a good place to kind of open up and ask those questions that you want to know. I hope you guys saw my Instagram. It is Dr. underscore KJLMFT. That is on Instagram. Thank you, Leslie. Yes, the intentional bath. It is wonderful, I'm telling you. And I don't know if you guys have been to your local Target or Walmart, but they have so many different Dr. Teal's Epsom salt, and they smell amazing. Depending on what you're looking for, they have, I think I have about 8 or 9 of them. And depending on which one I want to use, I run that bath. They have a I think a calming and soothing one. They have like a shea butter one. They have a lot of. So, it doesn't, and it's made like maybe like $4 or $5 a bag. you know. I'm pretty sure we all have a candle sitting around. Light that candle, run that bath water, and take some time for yourself. I had a friend of mine tell me that he he takes an hour. I think he said it's an hour a day for self care, and I may be wrong, but I think he said an hour a day. So that he did the math, and he said that added up to less than 0.1% of his time for self care. And when you think about it, you're like, man, that's nothing. So you got to be an advocate for your self care. If you don't, no one else will. No one else will. Okay. Can I speak a little bit about cognitive behavioral therapy? Sure. Cognitive behavioral therapy is it's one of the modalities that allows you to to kind of to kind of understand what's going on with you and your intrusive thoughts. In I'm sorry, it kind of allows you to um, process your thoughts and your actions and your beliefs, because although we don't pay attention to it, our thoughts affect our emotions, and our emotions affect how we respond. So when you're dealing with cognitive behavioral therapy, it aims to kind of like reduce the some of the symptoms of that are associated primarily with depression and anxiety, and it kind of gives you a little bit of information when it comes to understanding how your thoughts affects your behavior, affects your responses. It kind of brings attention to your intrusive thoughts. And those are the thoughts that kind of just come in out of nowhere. You don't know what's going on. You're sitting there, you're in a good mood, you're looking at TV. And then next thing you know, you're thinking about something. It's like, where did that even come from? And then instead of it flying in and going out, it stays there and it keeps going and going and going. That's considered a ruminating thought. It keeps ruminating, it keeps happening, reoccurring. And so what was really small is now something big because you keep thinking about it. You keep thinking about it. You keep, processing it, and it changes its effect. And then once that happens, then your response changes because it was a little thought, but now it's a big thought. And oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to take care of this? How am I going to combat this? So yeah, CBT is a widely practiced modality. It definitely helps, like I said, with depression and anxiety symptoms. And it also helps with controlling your thoughts, communication, things of that nature. I hope that helped. One of my stage hands just came in. Excuse that noise. Okay. Um, okay. So yeah. Another question that I kind of had that I put up here was, how long does the therapy journey last? And the therapy journey is different for everyone. The therapy journey could be, 3 months for one person. It could be 6 months for someone else. It all depends on you and what you're going in to work on. Um, don't think that you're by yourself. If you go in with one issue and then you come out, with, oh my gosh, all of this stuff just came out of nowhere. That's kind of what therapy does. It brings up, some things. It's peeling back that the layers of the onion, and you find out that it's like, oh, well, this that happened when I was 8 affected how I responded when I was 12, and now it's still affecting me in my adult life. So it definitely depends on you and your therapist, and what it is you're seeking. Sessions normally last anywhere from 45 to 55 minutes, depending on your therapist. Me personally, sessions last about 50 minutes. I use the last 10 minutes to kind of go over what we discussed in therapy, assign some homework and set up another session. So it depends on your journey, but everyone's therapy journey is unique to what you are going in for. So, this is just an opportunity to just address some of the things that we don't know and, maybe get some answers. So, yeah, thank you guys for the hearts. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you, Leslie. You love the lavender. It is very good. I'm telling you, if you guys don't have it, pick you up some. You'll thank me later. Yes, Sorgina, thoughts creates feelings, that creates behaviors, that creates actions. Yes, definitely. And you'll be amazed at how powerful those thoughts can be, because, you can just sit there and think about one thing, and next thing you know, you're feeling some certain kind of way. And, next thing you know, you want to pick up the phone and let somebody know how they made you feel 12 years ago. And it's like, wait a minute, I got to let this go. So that's when you got to do some self-assessing and do a self-scan and say, no, I'm not allowing this that happened 12 years ago to still have this much power over me today. So yeah, it's a process, but it's definitely worth it. You'll feel better, you'll feel lighter, you'll feel more informed once you find out how things of the past, how the trauma is affecting your present. So yeah. All right. Do we have any more questions in the chat? I don't see anything. I don't think so. Okay. I see something from Kim Jackson Matthews. She said, oh, she came from that era too. Okay, yes, the era from what goes on in this house stays in this house, right? Um, Finding the best therapist, that's a that's a good question. It's definitely based on what you're looking for. I know that we like to have our own. We want to speak to our own. Like I said, that was one of the reasons why I chose this field, because I didn't want to go in and have to code switch and explain everything. If I go in and I see someone sitting across from me that looks like me, we could start from a totally different level, and it just seems like it's more meaningful. So, depending on what it is that you are looking for, I would say try Psychology Today, and you can kind of indicate, certain things that you're looking for there. Um, what's another one? Black Mental Health. That's another one that has some Black mental health therapists, psychiatrists, and psychologists. And I have a colleague who is working on a directory that features Black mental health providers. We had two events, I think it's Black Therapists Rock. Um, and yeah, it was really successful, and he's trying to get the directory together. So I will keep you posted. If I can get it from him, I will keep you posted. And just a word of caution, I know that we want to go in and find the right therapist as soon as we walk in the door, but it's kind of like, looking for a car. You may have to look over here and you see this car and it has the color you want, but it's not the price you want. And then you go over here and it's the price you want, but it's not the color. So you may have to kind of shop around, and look for a therapist that meets your needs. But I want to encourage you to make sure you know what you're looking for, because you don't want to settle. You definitely don't want to settle in this therapeutic process. You want to click with someone that's going to work with you and that's going to help you get to where you need to be. So, you may have to go through one or two, maybe three different therapists until you find a perfect fit, but please don't settle. And little do you know, this is the beginning of you taking back your power, because you're not settling for less. You're not just conforming and saying, well, they're okay. They're a little far. They don't really have the hours I want, but, they relate to me. No, keep looking, keep looking, keep looking, keep searching for what you need, because this journey is so important to your mental wellness. You don't want to compromise. You want to make sure that you are getting what you need. Okay. All right. I don't think I see anything else. I see comments. Let me go back to that. Oh, okay. And looking for a couples therapist, how much importance should I put on modality? Um, Well, if you've had individual therapy and you know what you like, then you may want to focus on that modality. But I would say to be open to the process, because the modality, while it's important, it's not the entire therapeutic process. You know, you may find a therapist that can use a different modality that's more effective than what you're thinking. And you'll be like, whoa, I didn't think that was going to work. So, modality is important, but I think the therapist, their skills, their background, um, and how they work with you as a couple, I think that is what's most important. And make sure that you and your partner are, seeking out this therapist together, because you may like it and your partner may not, or vice versa. So you want to make sure you guys kind of go in this together, um, with the same expectations of what it is you're looking for. Okay. All right. I don't think I see any more questions. I could be wrong. Anything else? Nope. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, I think I have like 3 more minutes maybe to answer any questions you have. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. The questions were really engaging. I hope that I was able to provide you guys with some information. Again, please follow me. My professional Instagram is Dr_KJLMFT. And the first 3 people to DM me will receive a book free, will receive a book autographed by me. And I would love to hear your feedback on the book, and how you've used it, if it's affected and helped you in any way. I would love to hear about that. And I guess since I have 3 minutes, I just want to begin closing by saying how important your mental health is. I know that it's quote unquote trending, but this is more than a trend. This is about your life. And so your mental health, your mental wellness is as important as the shoes that you put on your feet. And if you know me, you know that I love shoes. And I'm pretty sure you guys do too. You want to match from head to toe. You want your shoes to look good, your purse, your glasses, your clothes. But if you're looking good on the inside, on the outside, and you all messed up on the inside, it's not a good fit, right? It's kind of like you're not matching. It's kind of like you're not matching. So I just want to encourage you to advocate for your mental wellness. Reach out to a healthcare professional if you're looking for therapy services. Lean on your village. Do me a favor and try not to Google. I know that we say it's worth a Google, but don't Google your symptoms. Please don't self-diagnose. If you're feeling that you're overwhelmed or something's going on, please seek professional help, because Google will have you tripping. So try not to Google, try not to self-diagnose, look into getting some professional assistance. And like I said, lean on your village, take care of yourself, and make your mental wellness a priority. Okay. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I do believe that is my time. Don't forget to come back to the Self Care Summit, 7 days of Delta Care. Share the link, repost, come back, get as much information as you can so you can go out and be the best you possible. All right, you guys, stay safe, be encouraged, and always aspire to inspire. Bye.